Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Now at 10, election night is over and state officials are calling the results a liberal wave. We'll have the latest in a few minutes. And a school district voted to have armed security guards in public schools. We'll have a live report coming up.
Plus, high winds tonight could cause trees and power lines to come down.
And that's why we're under a weather impact alert tonight. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. That high wind advisory just started, so let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for our first check at the forecast. What are the winds looking like right now, Rachel?
Honestly, they're not too bad right now, but we will see the winds continue to build as we head throughout the next several hours. So that weather impact alert goes until 5 o'clock in the morning. By the time the sun is up, the worst of the winds are over, although it will remain blustery into your Thursday, and we could see gusts up to around 45 miles per hour. Again, that could result in a few outages, so make sure you're securing any loose objects outside. I know it's 10 o'clock. You're like, do I have to go out there? Make sure your phone's all charged up and ready to go, and set that backup alarm clock if you're still using an old school one that plugs into the wall. Again, winds aren't too bad. We're gusting to about 37 right now in Groton, and if we widen out, you'll see some bigger winds to the west, and this is what will move in the wake of these showers and a cold front that is working its way on through. There was actually a severe thunderstorm warning in New York a little while ago, but those storms have really diminished, and now we're just left with some showers that are coming on through. So some more much needed rain, Bloomfield, Canton, Avon, and we've got a bit more to get through. After this rain clears is when the winds will really start to pick up. So you might wake up in the middle of the night, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and go, what is going on out there? It is mild. Temperatures are close to 60 degrees. Again, the worst of the winds overnight, but still breezy into tomorrow, and cooler as well, with highs in the 40s to near 50 degrees. We'll get a closer look at the changes ahead. Your full forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, with strong winds in the forecast, utility companies are preparing. They have staff on standby.
Yeah, today we spoke with Eversource, which is taking steps to ensure a swift response to any storm-related outages.
We prepare for storms and extreme weather like the winds we're expecting tonight all year round. It's a main focus for us all year, and so our proactive work on vegetation management and also installing thicker wires and stronger poles, we do this all year, and it helps us in situations like we're expecting tonight to ensure reliability for our customers.
If there is an outage anywhere, Eversource is asking customers to be patient as crews work to restore the power. As always, you can track the latest live radar at your fingertips right from your phone. Just download the free Fox 61 News app in your app store now. Well, tonight, the Bristol Board of Education met to vote on a new policy that would give security guards the ability to carry firearms on school grounds.
Fox 61's Jalen Anderson attended that meeting tonight. He's live in Bristol with more on the decision. Jalen.
Yes, that's right. The Bristol Board of Education approved the new policy with all board members voting in favor of it. The board emphasized to all in attendance that tonight's vote was to allow the current director of security the right to carry a firearm as he meets all requirements under state law. The district says this is just the first step of the new policy, and leaders believe one day they will eventually hire guards to carry a firearm. Those guards would have to be retired police officers who left service in good standing. For now, the district is continuing to hear from parents and also taking into account the physical budget. Board members say the policy adds a new layer of protection, and they want to continue to make the school district one of the safest in the state.
We don't have resource officers at the elementary level, and so the thought might be to expand to the elementary level. But of course, we want to take a deliberative approach because, as you heard tonight, there were some parents who didn't fully understand, and so we want to give parents in the community an opportunity to really understand what this means, what it looks like. And so when we start with Mr. Cabas, our Director of Safety and Security, they will get a sense of what it could possibly look like. They would have a better understanding of the training that he receives, and then in a slow, deliberative approach, along with our Board of Finance, putting these into the budget.
The board says at this moment there is no money in the budget to hire any other guards, any guards. And also the Board of Education added that when it comes to time to hire guards, they will make sure they are carefully selected and trained. In Bristol, Jalen Anderson, Fox 61.
Democrats make this a safe harbor, a place that you can count upon, a little bit of stability, making sure that we're making investments in them and their families and their kids and make it a place that they want to be. I think that's why you saw 29 towns flip. That's why you have 102 towns now led by Democrats, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, you just heard from Governor Ned Lamont earlier today. He recapped what he described as the liberal wave we not only saw in Connecticut, but in other places across the country.
Some local and state leaders are calling this a clear message to Washington about where Connecticut voters' heads are at.
Fox 61's Annette Montgomery spoke with a political professor and a local political leader about what this means for the future of our state.
A political science professor at Quinnipiac University tells me this recent election shows voters are not only trying to send a clear message to President Donald Trump, but also to Governor Lamont ahead of the upcoming legislative session.
They got the House, they got the Senate, they got the White House. They're trying to blame somebody else for the dysfunction. Here in Connecticut, we're taking responsibility, and people, I think we're happy with what the Democrats are doing.
A strong message from Governor Ned Lamont Wednesday afternoon about the political climate nationally and why he thinks that has trickled down to the local races in Connecticut.
It's not just New Britain and Ansonia, but it's Westport and Brantford. I mean, there's a wide variety of towns and different types of folks.
Of the most shocking wins for Democratic leaders in the state, the mayoral race in New Britain.
When Aaron Stewart's handpicked successor doesn't win, and Mayor-elect Bobby Sanchez does, it sends a message across our state.
It's a message Chris Anderson, the chair of the city's Democratic Party, says connects directly back to Washington and the key issues people across the state and New Britain care about most.
This was an absolute referendum on the direction that the city and the country is going. New Britain voters, for the first time in a very long time, elected Democrats to represent every single seat in the city.
Scott McLean, a political science professor at Quinnipiac University, weighed in on what this reveals about the overall political mood and what these results suggest about where Connecticut's political landscape is headed.
I think sending a message is really what is happening. And not just to Donald Trump, sending a message to, our governor here regarding what to do about President Trump. I think we're about to have a special legislative session. There's going to be a lot of talk about using the rainy day fund to help support SNAP. It's only been partially funded by the Trump administration under court order. I think a lot of lawmakers are going to tell Governor Lamont, the rainy day is here.
Professor McLean tells me one thing that is trending in the positive direction for the Republican Party is that the number of registered voters who are Republican is increasing. In New Haven, Annette Montgomery, Fox 61.
Thank you, Annette. We have results from several hotly contested local mayoral races.
So let's recap some of the biggest ones. Right now, the Bristol mayoral race is still very tight. You can see the closeness of the numbers there. And though Democrat Ellen Zappo-Sassu has declared victory and incumbent Jeffrey Caggiano has conceded, no winner has officially been declared there. Caggiano, the Republican, is seeking a third term. He previously served as chair of the city's Republican Town Committee. Zappo-Sassu is no stranger to Bristol City Hall. She served as mayor from 2017 to 2021 before losing to Caggiano in that election.
Another close race is in Torrington. Current mayor Eleanor Carbone chose not to seek re-election. Republican candidate Molly Spino won the race by more than 500 votes. She beat city councilman and chair of the Democratic Town Committee, Stephen Ivan.
A 15-year-old has been identified after dying in a crash in Glastonbury last month. School officials say the young victim's name is Dylan Dupuis. Police say he was a passenger in a 3-vehicle accident on October 24th on Hebron Avenue, and that's when one car lost control on a curve and hit an oncoming vehicle and then was struck by a second car. 5 people were injured, including one with life-threatening injuries. The investigation is ongoing.
Gallup Hill School in Ledyard will be closed tomorrow because of a fire that happened in a bathroom. The fire was on the 2nd floor this morning. Superintendent Jay Hartling says all students and staff are safe. No one was hurt. The fire was contained to the bathroom, though smoke affected parts of the 2nd floor. Students were dismissed early so a professional team could come in and clean and assess the building.
Developing tonight, a community in Basra is searching for answers after a fire burned a home, and officials say one man is still unaccounted for tonight. It happened early this morning on Fitchville Road. Fire officials say the fire spread quickly between several buildings nearby. The neighbors tell us they heard several explosions before they saw the flames shooting into the air.
To go back inside, and then 2 more huge booms, and my wife yelled, my neighbor's house is on fire.
They are working with an explosives response team to find out what caused those blasts and to find out what sparked the fire.
New Haven police identified the young woman who died after a quadruple shooting over the weekend. 18-year-old Alexa Acevedo from Norwich and 3 others were caught in the crossfire on Church and Center Streets. Officers say Acevedo died at the scene. The 2 men and the other woman were hurt but are expected to recover. Investigators are still looking for the shooter or shooters.
In Louisville tonight, at least 12 people are dead after that UPS cargo plane crashed. That plane crashed on takeoff and caught fire after an engine detached from the wing. It happened yesterday at Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville. The plane was bound for Honolulu, so it was loaded with fuel. The NTSB says airport video shows the engine detached during the takeoff roll. Crews are still searching the half-mile debris field. Kentucky's governor calls it a heartbreaking loss. We'll have more details in about 30 minutes.
A warning tonight, there will be reductions to the U.S. airspace because of the government shutdown to the tune of a 10% reduction. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just announced what he calls additional measures to reduce risks in national airspace. Specifically, Duffy says this will affect 40 U.S. locations, but he didn't specify which ones. We know the restrictions will impact roughly 4,000 flights. We reached out to Bradley International Airport, and they said they have not been notified of any local impacts.